Hello everyone, welcome to the Magic Whisk kitchen. I am Athina and today, you guessed it, it's my birthday. Since I'm a pastry chef still on quarantine, there is no surprise that today I will be doing a video tutorial on my very own chocolate birthday cake. At the end of this video, I will also be sharing some tips with you to help you with your cake. If you do have any questions, please comment below or message me privately. That's it from me. Take care and have a sweet day. First, we're going to start with our sponges. So we're going to be using an electric mixer with a paddle attached. So in here, we're going to add all our dry ingredients. So in here, I have the plain flour, baking soda, baking powder, salt, and the vanilla caviar. So we're gonna add that straight in. To that we're gonna add the sugar and the cocoa powder. And we're gonna mix that just for about 30 seconds or a minute. This is just to combine the ingredients, so it shouldn't take too long. Now that all our dry ingredients are combined, in a separate bowl we're gonna mix all our wet ingredients. So we have vegetable oil, the brewed coffee, 3 eggs, and our buttermilk. And we're going to whisk that really well. And now we're going to pour all our liquids in a steady stream until everything is combined. Once everything is mixed, stop your mixer and scrape down. Make sure you get all the way to the bottom. Now we're going to keep mixing for another 20 seconds. And last we're going to add our chocolate chips. Straight in there. And mix again for another 10 to 20 seconds or until the chocolate chips are combined. So now, as you can see, our chocolate batter is ready. It's really nice and smooth. You can see all the chocolate chips in there. So now we're ready to pour it into our 3 cake tins. Next, I'm going to show you how to line your cake tins. So here I have 2 types of cake tins. So I have this, which is just a ring. It takes a bit more time to line this. And this, which is very handy, all you need to do is put some non-stick spray and some paper and you're ready to go. So we're gonna do this one first so you can see. So I'm gonna spray this with some non-stick spray. I'm gonna rub my hands around that, make sure it goes everywhere. Perfect. Now all you need to do is just place the paper on the top, and that's it really. Now you're ready to go. So I'm gonna leave that on the side, and I'm gonna show you these two. So these two require a bit more work, but nothing to worry about. I'm gonna place a piece of foil under each tin, like this. Now again, we're going to spray our tins. I'm gonna wrap this with our hands so it goes everywhere. So now we're gonna put that piece of parchment paper on the top again. Once you've done that, what we're gonna do is we're gonna start by wrapping the foil around the tin as tight as possible. That way, none of your batter will come out during baking time. So now this is really nice and tight, and I'm gonna do the second one. So same thing here, as tight as you can, wrap the foil around the tin. Again, this is really nice and tight. Now all our cake tins are lined. We're going to measure 680 grams in each tin. Now I'm sure that you're wondering, how am I gonna measure this tin without the foil coming off? So I'm gonna show you a little trick. What we're gonna do is, we're going to use a cake board straight on your scales. You're gonna tear this so it goes to 0. Then we're gonna put the cake tin right on the top and press tear again. That way, when you're going to lift your cake tin, the cake batter is gonna stay inside, and then all you have to do is just slide it on your tray. I'm gonna show you one so you understand what I'm talking about. I'm using a big ice cream scoop to measure my cake batter. It's clean, and you can have this handle here that releases the batter, so it's very handy. 680 grams per tin. So as you can see now, I've got the cake board underneath, so I'm gonna put my cake tin here and just release nice and clean. I'm gonna do my second one now. Again, lift and slide. Now for this tin, we're not gonna need the cake board as the bottom of this is quite stable. And now we're gonna pour the last of our butter in the cake tin. Now as you can see, all the cake batter is split between the 3 tins, and now we're gonna bake it in a 140-degree oven for 40 to 45 minutes. While our sponges are baking in the oven, we're gonna start making the chocolate buttercream. First, we're gonna place our chocolate in the microwave till it's all melted. As you can see now, our chocolate is nicely melted, and we're gonna put it aside until we need it. Next, we're going to combine the milk with the salt, and we're going to microwave that for about 30 seconds. That way we're going to bring the milk to room temperature and dissolve the salt. In a standing mixer with a paddle attached, we're going to add the softened butter, and we're going to beat that for 2 to 3 minutes until light and fluffy. After 2 to 3 minutes, we're going to scrape down, and we're going to beat for a further 2 to 3 minutes. As you can see now, our batter is light and it's almost white in color. That means we're ready to add the icing sugar. Because the icing sugar is a very big amount, we're going to add it in 3 stages. That is about 1/3 now, and we're ready to beat. I'm going to start on very low, otherwise you're really going to make a mess in your kitchen. Once your sugar is almost completely incorporated, we're going to mix the one that is stuck on the sides. And now we're going to be on medium speed for about 1 to 2 minutes. We are now ready for the second part of our icing sugar. Again, as gently as possible on the bowl. This time we're going to put a towel over our KitchenAid so none of the icing sugar comes out. So just like this, and then again start it on low speed. After about 20 seconds, you can take the towel off, and you can mix on medium speed for another 1 to 2 minutes. Now we're ready to add the last and final part of the icing sugar. And again, this time we're going to put a towel over a standing mixer. We're going to start it on low first, and after 20 seconds we're going to take it off, and we're going to keep beating for another 1 to 2 minutes. As you can see now, our buttercream is already smooth and very pale in color. That means we're ready to add the cocoa powder. Straight in here. Again, take no chances and cover the bowl with a clean cloth. We're going to start on low speed first. Then we're going to take the cloth off, and we're going to keep beating for a further 2 to 3 minutes. After all the cocoa powder is incorporated, don't forget to scrape down again. It is very important to keep scraping your buttercream as you want it as smooth as possible. You don't want any bits left behind. Next, we are going to turn the speed to low and carefully pour the milk and salt mixture. When all the milk is combined, stop and scrape the bowl again. And last but not least, we're going to add the melted chocolate. Make sure the chocolate is poured in the center of the bowl to avoid any cold lumps around the edges of the mixing bowl. To ensure that my chocolate doesn't go to the edges, I make a little paddle here, and I try to pour all my chocolate in the middle of this paddle. Now we're going to be in medium speed until your chocolate is completely combined. So as you can see now, the chocolate buttercream is done. And you can just see how smooth it is, no lumps of sugar, just beautiful. Now we're going to place our buttercream and store it into an airtight container like this one. If you don't want to use your buttercream straight away, you can store it in a cool and dry place for up to 1 week. This is all done now. Next, we're going to decorate our cake. Now the fun part, we're going to build and decorate our buttercream cake. And for that, you're going to need some pretty inexpensive but still essential tools. So first one you're going to need is this palette knife. So this is a crank palette knife and we're going to use it in between the layers of our cake. So you definitely don't want this, guys. Second one is this one. So this is a straight palette knife. And we're going to use that for the outside of our cake. Next one is just a very cheap plastic scraper. They're about £1 to £2 maximum. And you're going to use that to really make your cake sharp. So you will see on the top, we'll have a few sides that are not that straight, and this is really going to make your cake sharp. Next, we have probably the most important tool here, which is our turntable. There is lots of turntables available, but this is a really good one. It basically does the work for you. So what we're going to do is we're going to hold our palette knife still as much as possible, and we're going to turn the table. And last, we're going to need 2 piping bags. This size is okay. I also have a smaller size for my ganache, and a nozzle. This is a small round nozzle. It's a number 11, but if you have a number 10 or 12, it doesn't really matter, to be honest. It's just to pipe more evenly between the layers. And last but not least, obviously we need our nice cake board, because this is completely straight. You don't have to fight with any of your plates. They normally have edges that go up, so they're not normally ideal for any kind of decorating. That's it, and now we're ready to decorate. First, we're going to trim our sponges. So my sponges are straight, to be honest, but I'm going to cut a little bit just to show you how it's done. So for that, you need a serrated knife. You're going to place your hand on the top, and then you're going to cut straight, not like this, not like that, straight. I'm going to take very little bit of mine just to show you. So yeah, that is all I took of mine. So if you need to take more of yours, you can, but I'm going to leave mine as they are. We're now going to start building the cake. We're going to place a blue cloth, or simply some paper, in the middle of the turntable, and then we're going to put some water on top of it. The reason we do that is because if you just put the board right on top of the turntable is quite slippery, so the cake board is going to keep sliding. Now we're going to place the board on the top, and that way your board is going to be pretty steady. So that's perfect now. Next, what we're going to do is we need the cake to stick to the board. We're going to take a little bit of the buttercream, put it right in the middle, and then we're going to place the first sponge, and what we're going to do is we're going to place it upside down. Reason for that is the bottom of the sponge is always more flat than the top of the sponge. So we're going to place it like this. This is a very good tip to remember. So we're going to place it in the middle as much as we can. Now we're going to put some buttercream into the piping bag. We're going to pipe going from the inside to the outside. So we're going to pipe in a swirl. So start from the middle, start pressing. Don't worry if it's not perfect. We're going to smooth that with our palette knife anyway. So you can stop when you get to the edges. So I'm going to stop mine now. This is what we're looking for. Now we're going to use our crank palette knife to make that smooth. Again, start from the middle, go into the outside. This is perfect now. If you do want to put some jam or some chocolate chips, this is the time to do it. Just make sure they're spread evenly so that it doesn't mess up with our layers. Now we're going to put the second sponge, and again, same technique, upside down, then place right on the top like that. And we're going to do the same with the second layer. Start piping from the inside to the outside. Stop when you get to the sides and smooth that out again. You can see that the buttercream is really beautiful and smooth. And now the last layer. Next, we're going to crumb coat our cake. What we're going to do is, with our straight palette knife, we're going to take some of the buttercream and start applying it on the sides. You don't need much at this stage. We're just trying to catch any crumbs that would mess up with the finish of our cake. Remember to keep moving the turntable. And now I'm going to put some on the bottom as well. Again, don't worry if it's not perfect right now, we're just crumb coating. Now we're going to put some on the top as well. Just a little bit again. Now, as you can see here, there's a few inconsistencies on the top of the cake. So we're going to use our scraper to smooth that. Start very gently. If you have any left on your scraper, you can scrape that back into the bowl. And now using again the cracked palette knife, we're going to scrape the top. So we're going to go from the outside to the inside very gently. Again, from the outside to the inside. We're going to use our scraper to place the leftover. So now I'm pretty happy with my cake. It's pretty neat, but obviously we're going to finish it. Now is the chance, if you want to get rid of any buttercream that you might have on the board, just run your cranked palette knife on the board and just take any leftovers. Now we're going to place this in the fridge for about 1 hour or until the first buttercream layer is set. Now our cake has been chilling in the fridge for about an hour. If you want to check, just put your finger on top and you shouldn't leave any buttercream on your hands. That's when you know you're ready for your second part. So again, now we're going to use our straight palette knife, and this time we're going to be a lot more generous with the buttercream, following the same technique. So we're looking to put about enough buttercream for 0.5 centimeter thickness. As you can see, my hand is here, but I am working on the opposite direction. This way it's a lot more comfortable than if you are like this. It's obviously a bit of a more awkward position. So don't rush this process. Be patient and make it as smooth as possible. Don't forget the bottom as well. And of course our top. Again, be generous. You don't want any of the sponge to be showing underneath. Now as you can see, all the buttercream is on. But you can see here, it's not really that sharp. There's a lot of gaps in between the buttercream, and of course it's not as smooth as we want it to be. So this is where our handy scraper comes in. What we're gonna do is you're gonna put this straight against the cake, and you're not gonna move this at all. All you're gonna do is move the turntable. So you're going to keep moving. Keep turning and turning and turning, and don't forget to scrape. The more you scrape, you will see, for example, here I have a gap, so I'm gonna go there and fill that up. Also here on the bottom I have some more gaps. I'm going to come and fill that as well. So the more you make your cake smooth, the more these imperfections will show. And now we're gonna keep scraping, a bit more here. And this is looking almost perfect and beautiful, so I'm really happy. Now, as you can see, my cake is pretty beautiful and smooth. So all I have to do is take care of the top now. So again, using your cracked palette knife from the outside to the inside and scrape. Again, from the outside, bring it inside, scrape. As you can see here, I have this line. This happens when you keep scraping, you will have a line, but don't worry because you won't be able to see it, as this will be the back of your cake. Again, now use your cranked palette knife to get rid of any buttercream on the bottom. Next, what I want to do is I want to put some sprinkles on the bottom of the cake. I have some confetti sprinkles here that are perfect for my birthday cake. So I want to show you a little trick. If you just start putting the confetti sprinkles as it is when you don't have a guide, they probably won't be on a straight line. So what I do is I take my palette knife, and what I do is I have it stable right here, and all I do is I start turning my board. Turning. Keeping my palette knife as straight as I can. What I've done now is I've created a nice straight line, and this is where my sprinkles are gonna go. So I'm gonna start putting my sprinkles right on. Don't worry if a lot of your sprinkles go on top of the board, we'll get rid of them. Try to not go over the line that you've created. Now, as you can see, all my confetti on my cake, you can really use any sprinkles you like. There's really not any limits to this. This is playtime for me, and it should be for you as well. So after we put our sprinkles on, we're gonna place the cake in the fridge for 1 hour or so, or until it gets firm enough again to place our ganache on the top. While my cake is in the fridge and it's almost ready, I'm going to make my ganache. So in here I have the double cream and the chocolate, everything in one jug. And we're gonna microwave that for about 20 seconds to 25 seconds, or until your chocolate is just melted, and then we're going to use our palette knife just to mix it in together. As you can see now, my ganache is ready. It's glossy and it's just perfect and runny enough to put it on my cake. So all of that is going in. I'm just going to tie a knot at the end of it so it's easier for me to use. So now we're ready to do our chocolate ganache trick. Now we're ready to put our ganache on top of our cake. So what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna cut a very small hole. I'm gonna start on the side. And we're gonna keep going till the whole cake is covered. So I'm quite happy with that. You can see I have inconsistent drips, some shorter, some longer, so that's exactly what I want. I like putting some ganache on the top as well. So what we're gonna do is we're going to put some straight on the top, and we're gonna use our palette knife to just smooth it out. How easy was that? Now we're going to put it in the fridge for another half an hour or until the ganache is set. And now we're going to do the last bit, which is decorate with some buttercream right on the top to make it a bit more beautiful. Now my ganache on the top is all set. And now we're ready to do the fun part, which is decorate the top of our cake. I'm going to use the same nozzle and piping bag as I did before for the top of my cake. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to pipe a few kisses, pretty inconsistent on the top, and I am leaving the gap because after I'm finished with this nozzle, I will use a different nozzle to fill the gaps with. I'm quite happy with that. So a little trick for you, let's be honest, piping bags are not the cheapest ones. It's not the cheapest thing you can buy. So what I do is I have my piping bag here with this nozzle. What I do is I put the other nozzle on the top of that, and I'm going to be holding that while I'm piping. That way I don't have to get another piping bag out and waste it just for a few buttercream decorations. A bit more. You can never have too much buttercream, right? Now my cake is all piped on the top. And what I'm gonna do now is I'm gonna put a few more sprinkles because I love sprinkles and this is my cake. So here I have some of the ones that we put on the side, and I also have some chocolate sprinkles, so I'm gonna put both. Some of these pretty colorful ones, and loads of the chocolate ones because I love chocolate, and who doesn't, to be fair. And this is it now, guys, my ultimate birthday cake. Now we're going to serve a slice to see how it looks inside. Don't go anywhere. Go on.
Happy birthday to you.
And now it is the time we've all been waiting for. I'm gonna slice my ultimate birthday cake. And I'm gonna cut myself a big slice because hey, it is my birthday. I mean, just look at it, you guys. If this is not the ultimate chocolate cake, then I don't know what is. You can see how soft the sponge is, the buttercream layers. This is what I'm talking about. If you spread it evenly, it will look really nice when you cut it. And let's not forget this ganache here. Oh my god. Well, what else can I say other than happy birthday to me? Tip number 1 is always save your icing sugar. No one likes big lumps of sugar in their cake, right? It is very essential that you never skip this step. That way the buttercream will be smooth and much easier to work with. Tip number 2 is make your sponges in advance. I know people say fresh is best, but in this case it is much better to bake your sponges the day before. By doing that, the structure of your cake will be more stable and the sponges will be a lot less crumbly. Tip number 3 is practice, practice, and practice some more. Building a beautifully decorated cake takes some time to perfect, but the more you practice, the more rewarding the results will be. So don't be too harsh on yourself, and one day decorating a cake will be a piece of cake, or in this case, a piece of chocolate cake. Thank you for watching.